I'm doing okay. How are you guys doing? I have allergies that are kicking my ass right now. That's basically what my day's been like. Is just allergies, 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 man. People mowing their lawns, pollen in the air. Rough. Oh man. Oh wow, remember for 1 month. Thank you so much. Uh, that's what I sound like every time. Every fucking spring. That's what I sound like. Miserable. Hey, what's up, Francis? Andrew, how you doing, man? Thank you so much for hopping on in. Whale of the Deep, how you doing? Good God, it feels like my eyes are even like not 100% focused. Ugh, itchy, as they say. What's up? Oh my God, it's like I really can't even see properly. Francis Chainsaw Grimp, Austin Taylor, how you doing? Andrew, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Welcome, new sub member to help you out, dude. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, so we're going to be reacting to some content this afternoon, and some of the things I want to dive into are, well, one of the main things I want to dive into are these scientists that are apparently disappearing. Yeah, people have been kind of telling me about this at work, and not just that, but just everywhere. Really, it's just everywhere. What the fuck's going on with this? Why are these scientists disappearing all of a sudden? Why are they ending up unalived? What's going on with that, right? Oh, hoo-ha. Whew. All right. Anyways, my eyes, man, they are watery. Anyways, we're gonna dive into this shit. I really don't know what to expect from this. I just know I got a Scary Mysteries channel pulled up. It says the scientists are disappearing. Here's what they all had in common. Main thing I want to know: aliens. That's why we'll certainly see. We'll certainly see in the video I'm about to pull up. But anyways, yeah, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and let's go ahead and dive into this. See what's going on in the world. Why is this shit happening? And I probably have to redo the audio more than likely. It happens every time when I'm about to do this, so be ready for that. Okay. Okay. There's that. Let me see if this is looking good. I'd say that's probably pretty decent. I could probably bring this down just a little bit more. We'll bring you right there. That looks fine. That looks fine right there. Yeah, right there. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Okay. Anyways, everyone smash that like button and tickle that ding-a-ling. Yeah, thank you. That dingus this time, right? All right. All right. Not ding-a-ling, but dingus. Okay. I got a feeling the audio is going to do it again. I don't even know why I'm going to bother trying to fucking... Yeah, I don't trust it. I feel like the audio is not coming through. Even knowing it says it is, I don't trust it. Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and add another freaking... Dingus is an underrated word. Cancel that. There we go. New. Dusty. Okay. $11.3. That's probably good enough. Hey, Jake Hart's alive. Hey, what's going on? I'll be back in the old days again? I guess sort of, kind of. Hey, Steven, how you doing? All right. Now you probably will hear it.
Every town has a dark side.
Okay.
When something happens once, you can dismiss it as random chance. When it happens twice, you might start to wonder.
But when it happens, how many effing times has it happened now where these scientists, a part of this same little group of people, just start going missing or disappearing and ending up found dead? How many people now?
When it happens 3 times, we're talking same circumstances, same outcome, same result. That's no longer coincidence, that's a deliberate pattern.
Yeah.
And something is being done intentionally. And today, we have 6 people, all of whom have gone missing without a trace or have wound up dead under mysterious circumstances.
That's just crazy. Yeah, there's too much of a coincidence in that. There's no way that this is not connected in some way. No way in hell. That's terrifying.
And this all happened within the last 9 months. And the thing that connects them all is that each and every one of these individuals were working at facilities guarding America's most sensitive information.
Long story short, don't work for the government. Yeah, because shit like this.
Hey guys, it's Andrew. Welcome
Terrifying.
to another episode of Every Town Where Today.
He just say Andrew? Holy shit.
We have a situation unfolding that most certainly deserves a deep dive in. It looks like a good old-fashioned cleaning up of loose ends of sorts. And the questions for us then are, what exactly was in need of such a cleansing and who is behind it all? Let's get into it. This is Dead or Missing, what's really happening to the scientists who know too much. William McCasland is not a name you're likely to recognize, but inside the world of American aerospace and defense research, he was a top official.
Okay.
He graduated from the Air Force Academy in '79 with a degree in astronautical engineering, then went to MIT for a master's and then came back for a doctorate. His PhD supervisor, the one who sat across from him and guided his most serious academic work, had personally designed the guidance computer for the Apollo program. And so, from the very beginning of his career, McCasland wasn't just adjacent to America's most serious science, he was right inside it. And what followed was a career of more than 3 decades, spent climbing through increasingly classified corners of the Air Force, director-level positions at the Pentagon, and work alongside the National Reconnaissance Office.
Okay, so it sounds like this guy was in deep. He knew his shit, by the sounds of it. Worked on the Apollo. Helped out with the Apollo mission, huh?
The agency responsible for operating America's spy satellites.
Oh.
It's an organization so secretive that its existence wasn't even publicly acknowledged until 1992. He commanded the Phillips Research Site at Kirtland Air Force Base in New Mexico, a facility associated with directed energy weapons and advanced space technologies that most Americans have never heard of and never will.
Okay, so he's definitely involved with some secret shit. That's plainly obvious to see here. This guy is involved with some very secret shit. And it's apparently stuff we don't even know about, which is obvious. You know, the government's always about keeping secrets and things that we should probably just keep our noses out of and whatnot. And I guess they just, for whatever fucking reason, they decided that it was a good idea just to get him out of the way. Now, after all these years, I'm not sure if he ever, revealed any true secrets behind any of this stuff. Like, he never went out of his way to make sure, everybody knew what he was working on. But something must have made them think that, hey, this has to remain so secret that the people who are aware of it probably shouldn't be here anymore. Man, that is kind of scary.
And then in 2011, he received his final posting. He took command of the Air Force Research Laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base over in Dayton, Ohio.
Holy shit.
Wright-Patterson, as you might know, isn't just any base.
Andrew, you hear that?
In the world of UFO research, it occupies a position something like the Vatican, a place of reverence, of rumor, and of mystery that has persisted for nearly 8 decades and shows no sign of fading. It was the home of Project Blue Book, the Air Force's official investigation into reported UFO sightings that ran from the early 50s
I've heard of
to
this.
1969. And over the life of that program, investigators logged nearly 13,000 reported sightings. And most of them they could explain away, but 701 of them were officially classified as unidentified, and they remain so to this day.
They say 16,000 reports?
Unidentified, explain away.
13,000.
But 701 of them were officially classified as unidentified, and they remain so to this day.
Because you had a lot of people probably who, when all this UFO shit was going down, they'd start getting paranoid or freaked out or just wanted to seek attention. So what they would do is they'd just go outside or they would see a bird fly to the corner of their eyes and then automatically that's a UFO in their opinion. You know, it was so fucking fast, but it was just a bird landing on a tree right next to them, but they missed the bird landing on the tree. Yeah, probably most of the events that happened back then. But, 700 cases still unidentified. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. I wonder what made them actually, classify them as unidentified. Was it because they knew what these things look like? And so when someone explained what the thing that they saw looked like, they were like, okay, that's actually what, these UFOs do look like. So, yeah. I don't know. Crazy.
And the base has long been rumored to be where physical materials recovered from the 1947 Roswell incident were eventually transported and then studied. The Air Force, of course, has always denied this, but the rumors have never gone away. And that's really because researchers, former military personnel, and even people who worked inside it, every once in a while open their mouths about stuff they had seen or things they've heard. McCasland ran the research lab at that base for 2 years. And to put it into perspective how real of a deal this was, he oversaw a combined annual budget of $4.4 billion with a B, and a workforce of nearly 11,000 people. When he retired in October of 2013, the general who replaced him said publicly that McCasland had developed capabilities the country would be relying on for decades, though he said nothing about what those capabilities actually were. And after retiring, he moved into the private sector, director of technology at a defense company in Albuquerque. But somewhere in that post-retirement period, quietly and never on the record, he became involved in Tom DeLonge's disclosure project. A source described McCasland to the New York Post as a gatekeeper and participant in the UFO community, someone who sat at the intersection of what was classified and what the outside world was trying to piece together from fragments. And DeLonge's To the Stars Academy, the organization those conversations helped shape, later played a direct role in pushing the Pentagon to release authentic Navy footage of unidentified aerial phenomena in 2017. In 3 videos, in fact, 3 encounters between Navy pilots.
So I guess there's a certain amount that we're allowed to see, and then there's stuff that we just genuinely can't see. So certain things we're allowed to release, but certain things we can't. And shouldn't. I guess. It's like there's a fine line that can't be crossed. Because wasn't it not that long ago when we were supposed to actually get the entirety of the files for the UFO stuff? Wasn't it not that long ago when this was all being discussed? When we were supposed to get an absolute reveal? Who knows, man? At this rate, who just fucking knows? Like, are we even prepared mentally to to see what we're expecting? Like, I hear, I was actually talking to some people at work about this. I basically said that all they're going to be doing is revealing the stuff we're already aware of. I don't even know why they keep it secret anymore. But now it's kind of like I'm sitting here beginning to think, like, maybe there's some things we just don't need to know. Not because I wouldn't be able to handle it, not like you guys wouldn't be able to handle it, but maybe because there's, like, people in this world that genuinely couldn't handle it. Right? I don't know. How long have we been studying UFOs, and how long have they been maybe even trying to recreate some of the weaponry? Who knows, man? For all I know, right? I don't know. It's just crazy. But people are ending up missing. People are beginning to disappear. I wouldn't be surprised if anybody involved with any of these people who know this information has already probably tried to leave the country at this point because of how many people are just ending up missing. It's kind of terrifying.
And objects that moved in
What
ways
are
no
they
known
just
aircraft
trying
could
to keep
explain.
secret?
The release of that footage triggered the current wave of congressional UAP hearings and set off a chain of
2023.
events that reshaped the entire conversation and culminated in 2023 with a former Pentagon official testifying under oath before Congress. The United States government had been operating a secret program to recover and reverse engineer what he described as non-human craft.
There you go.
And whether you
There you go. So they really were trying to pull that kind of stuff and do that kind of stuff. That's no surprise, though. It's no surprise.
believe that testimony or not, something has genuinely shifted in the last several years. And UFO disclosures moved from sketchy internet forums and into formal Senate hearings and sworn congressional testimony. And William McCasland, well, he was one of those figures hanging quietly in the background of it all when that shift began. And now comes the first part that is difficult to explain away with coincidence.
Yeah.
On February 1st of 2026, 6 days before he vanished, President Trump publicly announced he was directing the Pentagon and federal agencies to begin releasing government records related to extraterrestrial life and UAPs.
And that's exactly what I was talking about. Like, it literally wasn't even that long ago when we were all talking about them releasing all of this shit. And now it's just like, trying to sweep it under the rug.
And 6 days later, McCasland, the man who most certainly could have helped releasing all that information, he walked out of his Albuquerque home on foot and was never seen again.
Ooh, that's chilling.
I hope you're not too desensitized at this point to really let that sink in. Because what I just described is not a movie or a conspiracy. It's
really
all
happened.
factual information that you can look up, and it's only the tip of the iceberg. In terms of what we know about his disappearance, it's this. That morning, a repairman was at his home around 10 a.m. He spoke briefly with him and then left. At 11:10, his wife left for a medical appointment. When she returned at 12:04, her husband was gone, and she reported him missing at 3:07 p.m.
He's left his phone, he changed his clothes into I don't know what. I think he's on foot.
His wearable devices like smartwatch that had tracking capabilities. What may have gone with him was a red backpack, a .38 caliber revolver, and its leather holster.
He knew something was going on. Granted, he could have taken it with him for wildlife, mountain lions and shit, the gun. The fact he didn't take something that potentially could have had a tracking device in it, I mean, potentially. I mean, some of those devices, you actually can see where people are just by even using something like Snapchat. So Facebook Messenger, Evan has a thing where you can turn it on and see where someone is located. So it would not be that crazy if they would definitely have a tracker in that device. A red backpack, leather holster, and a .38 caliber pistol. Revolver. Wow. And he just took off. On foot.
He also left without his wallet. Essentially gone with no way to contact anyone, no way to be tracked,
there's something up with that.
no way to buy anything. There was a huge search for this man. They pulled out all the stops, and the FBI field office in the area even got involved. But as of the making of this, there have been 0 confirmed sightings of William McCasland since the morning of February 27.
That's 2 months ago. That was 2 fucking months ago. He went missing only 2 months ago. Ooh. Oh, that is very unsettling to know it happened this close.
8 months before McCasland disappeared on June 22nd, 2025, a woman named Monica Reza went hiking in the Angeles National Forest in the mountains above Los Angeles.
The last seen hiking in the Los Angeles forest with a companion. By all accounts, everything seemed normal that day. She was about 30 feet behind that person she was hiking with, smiling and waving. He turned around. Next thing you know, she was just completely gone.
They searched immediately and then rescued.
Excuse me?
Person she was hiking with, smiling and waving. He turned around. Next thing you know, she was just completely gone.
Wait. Who the fuck is taking these people? Turns around and then she's gone. Everything was normal. Smiling, waving, having a good time on this hike. And then all of a sudden, he turns around and she's just gone? Did he at least attempt to run over there and see where she was? How far of a distance it was? Bigfoot? Yeah, okay, yeah. Makes you think, man. It really does. It gets you thinking a little bit.
They searched immediately, and then rescue teams arrived, helicopters, canine
No
units,
sign.
and drones. Dozens of agencies combed that mountain for days, and then weeks, and they found nothing. There was not a piece of clothing, not a single footprint, not a physical trace of her anywhere on that terrain.
Oh my God.
And the case was transferred to the LA County Sheriff's Homicide Bureau Missing Persons Unit. Monica Reza remains listed as a missing person today. Now, here's who she was. Under her professional name, Monica Jacinto, she spent decades as a technical fellow at Aerojet Rocketdyne, the highest technical rank that the company offers. She co-invented something called Mondaloy, a family of nickel-based superalloys engineered to withstand the extreme heat and oxygen-rich conditions inside rocket engines. The stated purpose of Mondaloy in the Air Force press release was specific and strategic: to eliminate America's dependence on foreign rocket propulsion technology, which really meant to stop relying on Russian-made engines for national security launches so America could do what it wanted without any other country knowing.
Yeah.
When Aerojet Rocketdyne was sold for $4.7 billion to defense contractor L3Harris in 2023, Reza moved quietly to NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in La Canada, Flint Ridge, California. And now, here's the question worth sitting with. Who had overseen the government side of the Mondaloy research program? Well, it was the Air Force Research Laboratory Space Vehicle Directorate, commanded during a key period of that work by William McCasland. And the scientist who invented the alloy and the general who ran the program that funded it, they both vanished in the American West 8 months apart, leaving no physical trace behind. And now this is where things start to ramp up. Just 4 days after Monica disappeared from that mountain trail, another woman vanished. Now, her name was Melissa Casias, and the date was June 26, 2025. Now, she was an administrative assistant at Los Alamos National Laboratory in New Mexico. And that place, if you don't know, is one of the most secure and sensitive scientific facilities in the entire United States. It's the birthplace of the atomic bomb, and today, it's where classified research into energy, materials science, and national security happens at the highest levels. During World War II, the US government essentially built an entire secret city in the New Mexico mountains, and population classified, location classified, and purpose classified. And this is Los Alamos. The facility covers nearly 40 square miles. Access is controlled down to the room level. Employees are compartmentalized, meaning most people only know what they need to know for their specific role and nothing more. And Melissa, she worked there. Her role gave her access to sensitive nuclear research data and much more.
Casias was last seen near Talpa, just southeast of Ranchos de Taos. Her family says all of her belongings, like her wallet, keys, and valuables, were all left inside of her home. Her work and personal phone were also found inside of the home, but reset to manufacturer settings.
It's kind of interesting that all of their shit, all of their personal stuff, so far, at least with two of them, were all left at the house. So the wallet, phone, basically the things that you would expect them to take with them when they go out into the public, go out in public, all left at home before something like this happens. And not a trace of them yet. Are they even unalived? Or are they still out there? I don't know. It's definitely making me ask questions, but by far. I am... How much longer is this? 13 minutes in, dude. And there's how many people? 6 people went missing? Something like that? Yeah, 6 people went missing. Started last year. Late last year. Hey, what's up, everybody? Steven, how do I get him to react to my new video? It depends, man. I normally try to keep it within the realm of, like, horror, mystery, paranormal, supernatural, creepy content. I try to keep it in the realm of that stuff. Well, when you think you're being tracked or followed, the first step is to ditch your electronics, pick up your burner phone, carry only cash. True. True, and do you think they might have actually had started, like, picking up the fact that something was going on with people who were involved with something they might have been involved with? Like, they really started to see that something was going on, and that's why they might have started doing stuff like that? I think that's probably why. They started to catch on, like, hey, something's not right here. Hey, what's up, Robert? How you doing, man? Hey, Hart, how you doing? We're talking about the scientists that are disappearing. Speaking of which, I got to get back into the video. I got like 3 hours before I have to head to work, so.
Not lost or broken, but deliberately wiped clean. Every contact, every message, and every piece of data she had stored on those devices was gone. Erased before she walked out the door and disappeared.
Oh, I wonder. There must have been something going on. There must have been something going on their phones. Maybe a chat they had. I don't know. Again, I'm conspirizing now. And I don't want to do that too much because I'm not trying to make any false allegations or false, stories here. To wipe your phone completely clean. I mean, they might have done it for their family's benefit too. Maybe they didn't want them seeing something they should not have seen on their phone. And then that might have gotten them in trouble too. Who knows, right? Maybe they were being considerate of their families and stuff. At least she was, right? The fact that she wiped her phone completely before leaving the house just in case. She must have known something was either going to happen that day or she was going to end up going missing that day, whether by somebody else's doing or her own doing. Something must have told her I needed to go ahead and remove, scrap all the stuff on my phone. Ooh, man. This is chilling. No. There's really no coincidence in this. There's something amiss here.
Right now, Melissa Casias is still missing. So, 3 people, 3 disappearances, all of them gone within 8 months of each other, all of them connected in one way or another to the most protected corners of American science and defense.
Who's next?
And this next story definitely made the news, but that doesn't mean the answers are all there. In fact, it's quite the opposite. And because of how fast the news cycle is, well, this story has faded into the background, and that's likely been done on purpose. On the evening of December 15th, 2025, A man named Nuno Loureiro was shot in the entryway of his apartment building in Brookline, Massachusetts, just outside Boston. He was transported to a nearby hospital and died early the following morning. Loureiro was 47 years old. And born in central Portugal, he had earned a doctorate in physics from Imperial College London.
Loureiro was a professor of nuclear science, engineering, and physics, and also director of MIT's Plasma Science and Fusion Center. He was a husband and father of 3. Colleagues in Portugal remembering Loureiro as friendly.
In January of 2025, just months before he was killed, President Biden personally presented him with the Presidential Early Career Award, the highest honor the U.S. government gives to young scientists. Now, his work was in plasma physics and nuclear fusion, the science of superheated ionized gas and how to harness it as a clean, unlimited energy source. Now, if fusion is ever cracked at scale, the world's dependence on oil, gas, and coal ends just like that. Loureiro was, by the assessment of his colleagues and MIT itself, one of the people most likely to help make that happen.
Gunman Claudio Neves Valente attended the same university in Portugal as Loureiro did at the same time in the late 90s. Loureiro graduated from the physics program in 2000. That same year, Neves Valente was let go from his post as a teaching assistant.
He was also identified as the suspect in a shooting at Brown University 2 days earlier, where he had injured people before making his way to Brookline. So, was it a personal grudge between old classmates? Perhaps. A man gone crazy? Well, could be. But also, for a crazy man with a possible grudge to get on a plane in Portugal, stake out Loureiro's neighborhood on the day of the shooting, well, that takes a certain level of capability. And it would need to be one heck of a grudge.
Yeah.
Or what the motive really was, well, that's never been formally established and most likely never will. And Claudio died in a storage facility center that night, taking any secrets along with him.
How did that happen? How did he die? He makes a good point, though. It would have to be one hell of a grudge. You know, some people might use that to their advantage, the fact that there could be a grudge there, and have him do something, and then to kind of hide the secrets of what they encouraged him to do or pushed him to do, they decided to take him out. Almost went a little bit too perfectly in that sense. You know, he died not revealing anything about the motives or anything that the personal reasons why he did what he did.
Fast forward just 8 weeks to February 16th, 2026. At a house in Llano, California, along a remote stretch of desert that sits about 70 miles northeast of Los Angeles, just after 6 in the morning, a 67-year-old man named Carl Grillmair was found on his own porch with a gunshot wound. He was pronounced dead at the scene.
Another shooting.
And Grillmair was an astrophysicist at Caltech's Infrared Science and Data Center. His colleagues described him as ingenious, and not as a courtesy, but as a precise description of how his mind worked. His research had contributed to the discovery of water in the atmosphere of a distant planet, a finding that pointed toward conditions potentially hospitable to life less than 160 light years from Earth. He had identified stellar streams in the Milky Way and vast rivers of stars left behind by the disruption of ancient galaxy clusters, a work that fundamentally reshaped how astronomers understand the large-scale structures of the cosmos. He had led research programs using both the Hubble and Spitzer space telescopes and had received a NASA Exceptional Scientific Achievement Medal.
He is, and I say in the present tense, Carl is irreplaceable because the ingenuity he injected into his research in astronomy is unparalleled.
He
And where
was
he
a
lived in
smart
Lano,
cookie.
well, this was the kind of place people choose specifically because it's far from everything. Authorities arrested a 29-year-old man named Freddie Snyder nearby on a carjacking charge and later charged him with Grillmair's murder. But no motive was ever publicly released, and no explanation of whether Snyder knew Grillmair. There was no confirmation of whether this was a random crime of opportunity or something deliberate, pointed at this specific scientist, at this specific house, on this...
Or he was just blamed for it because he was doing another crime around the same area. And they were just like, yeah, this guy's good enough. That's who did it.
Specific morning.
Half-ass investigation.
That question has never been answered. And now, here's the final case, at least as of right now.
45-year-old Jason Thomas disappeared back in mid-December. He was last...
I mean, if he was found guilty, there are records to why. True. Maybe I'll look into that here in a few minutes.
In the area of Murray and Chestnut Streets in town. Searches and leads for the Novartis scientists have come up empty.
And Novartis is one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the entire world, with active research contracts with the U.S. Department of Defense. And Thomas's work focused on developing new medicines, including potential treatments for cancer. He was missing for 3 months. On March 17th of 2026, his remains were recovered from Lake Quannapowitt, not far from where he'd last been seen. Authorities did not announce evidence of foul play. The working assumption, at least publicly, appeared to be that his death was not suspicious.
Okay.
And maybe it wasn't. I mean, people go missing. Tragedies happen that have no sinister explanation and no connection to anything larger. But the timeline sits uncomfortably alongside everything else in this story. A defense-connected pharmaceutical researcher goes missing in December, and his remains surface in March, and no motive is offered. No explanation of what happened in those 3 months. No public accounting of the circumstances that led a 45-year-old man from his life to the bottom of a lake.
Yeah, it sounds like a bunch of very important people, scientists, people who have discovered and have helped out with a lot of major projects in a short period of time just started suspiciously disappearing or ending up dead. A couple of them gunshot wounds. They were shot.
So a quick recap just to lay this all out in sequence for clarity. In June 2025, a NASA rocket scientist who co-invented strategic defense materials and worked directly under a program connected to McCasland vanishes off a hiking trail in daylight 30 feet from her companion.
You make a good point, Hart. This is why we can't have nice things. People seem like decent people, too. It's not like, I know these people, right off. I don't know these people personally, but it's so obvious that there's probably something that they were discovering or something that they were accomplishing that was probably going to cost the government or whoever the fuck wanted them gone a lot of money. And decided that, hey, this is a threat to our business. I mean, the reality is, if they ever found the cure to cancer, which, very much well could exist out there, they're probably not going to even bother releasing it to the public. Why? Because that would be a threat to them making a lot of money off of us. Right? There's probably a lot of cancer researchers that take advantage and pocket a lot of the money that people donate. I mean, seriously, for all we know. That's just the way the world is. There are con artists. There are scammers out there. There are people who love us not knowing everything because they can take full advantage of it. Hell, we talk about the paranormal all the time. Well, there's a lot of people who fucking take advantage of the paranormal because we don't know everything. And they use that. Anyone who invented an alternate fuel has died. Yes. Yep, that would save us a lot of money. Oh, yeah. They end up disappearing somehow. Yes, my state, we have a city that insurance and pharmaceutically My apologies. My allergies is kicking my ass. Yep, yeah. I'm gonna read that again. I'm about to sneeze. Damn my allergies. Yep, my state, we have the city that's that's insurance and pharmaceutical based all the profits. Yeah.
And leaves no trace. Also in June, an administrative assistant at Los Alamos National Lab with access to sensitive nuclear research data vanishes without a trace. And her phones, they're wiped clean. In December 2025, the director of MIT's nuclear fusion laboratory, he's shot and killed in his home. And the motive is never established.
Nope.
February 2026, a pioneering astrophysicist is
He was shot too
dead
for no
on his
reason.
front porch at dawn. No motive released. Also in February, the most prominent figure in the intersection of the U.S. military and the UFO disclosure world vanishes from his home in New Mexico and is simply never seen again. In March 2026, the chemical biologist's body surfaces in a Massachusetts lake. No explanation given. 6 people, dead or missing, all of them working at the edges of aerospace research, advanced energy, defense technology, and, in at least one case, definitely the world of UFO disclosure. Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett has said publicly that he sees a pattern, that the numbers in these specific fields feel unusually high, and that people in Washington need to be paying attention. He also added that he doesn't think the government should be trusted to investigate itself on this. Former Assistant FBI Director Chris Swecker said his gut goes directly to a foreign intelligence service. Countries like Russia, China, and others have been running programs for decades, specifically designed to acquire American scientific knowledge at the level these people possessed. Things like advanced materials, plasma physics, astrophysical data, propulsion technology. And Swecker noted that in the world of intelligence, targeting scientists is not a new strategy. It goes back to the Second World War, when both sides were actively hunting each other's physicists and engineers. And that's important to remember in this case because why these people have been killed or disappeared in odd ways probably isn't all tied to UFOs, alien secrets, and Roswell. Now, that's the sensationalized
That is a creepy ass image.
version of events, the ones that grab headlines and your attention. But that kind of wording also diminishes the truth and even the lives of all these people lost. UAPs, alien probes, all that stuff. Now, these words alone carry a weight of cultural mockery that makes it genuinely difficult to take this situation seriously. And it's understandable to be skeptical, but that also might be the intention of it all. The question of whether any of this is connected to extraterrestrial phenomena is actually separate from the question that matters most right now. And the question that matters most is, would powerful institutions take extreme measures to protect certain kinds of knowledge and silence the people who hold it? And would they actually harm individuals to preserve state secrets, whatever those secrets might be? Well, that question has a documented answer with a deep history. And the answer is a resounding yes, absolutely.
No hesitation.
Beyond individual targeted killings, and there are many documented examples of those, what's most unsettling isn't the idea that powerful institutions would eliminate a specific person who knew too much. It's that they've demonstrated a willingness to harm completely random people. People with no strategic value, no secrets, no leverage, just ordinary civilians going about their lives. If you're willing to do that to strangers,
Hey, Mini Monk,
to
how you
people
doing?
who don't matter to you in any way, then removing someone who represents a genuine threat to state secrets isn't a leap. It's almost the easier call. For instance, Operation Lack from the 1950s.
So basically, yeah, even if you like had little knowledge or maybe just aware that something was happening, that went down, like a certain, secret operation. Okay, let's say you didn't know it 100% what it was all about, but you knew it existed, and they decide that, it's best that we just don't let that out to the public at all, right? Let's act like it never happened to begin with. Well, if you've even heard about it, you could be potentially a threat. And they would probably rather, in the long run, in the long scheme of things, just take you out to save a lot of time and a lot of worry. And make it look like an accident. It's not the fact that you would have had enough knowledge to go out there and start something, but any ounce of knowledge to them is just too much knowledge. And they would rather just, nah, let's not risk that. Bye-bye. Because to them, you're irreplaceable. At some point, there's going to be another genius who's going to come along, and they will continue on the work that this previous person did. That's just how fucked up our world is. To a lot of these bigger people, we're really nothing. Yeah.
Had the U.S. Army
it's scary, man. It is a scary world.
Sulfide over large areas of the American Midwest, including the city of St. Louis, just to test dispersal patterns. Cadmium is a known carcinogen, so what it did to humans and animals down there, well, who knows for sure, but it certainly didn't help them. The government also conducted hundreds of radiation experiments on unsuspecting civilians, including hospital patients, prisoners, and military personnel during the Cold War because, well, they needed to understand it better.
They don't give a fuck about, like, content creators, security guards, fucking everyday people. They don't give a fuck. But the people who are actually involved with their facilities, scientists, NASA, places like this that are, directly under them, I mean, it's a scary thing. It's a scary fucking scary thing. And I almost would just rather never. I'm sure the pay is really good, but man, the risks you take. Not worth it.
This is a fact, formally acknowledged by President Clinton back in '94. In the 1950s and 60s, the Army released swarms of mosquitoes in residential areas of Georgia and Florida. And they did fleas to test whether insects could be used as biological weapon delivery systems. And nobody in the public truly knows what the results were of that. And speaking of insects, what about Lyme disease? Now, that first showed up in 1975 in Old Lyme, Connecticut, which just so happens to be located less than 12 miles from Plum Island. The main attraction there is the Plum Island Animal Disease Center, where they can safely experiment on and research animal diseases. The Lyme came out of nowhere, and what started as a small cluster 50 years ago now has about 500,000 people per year getting infected, and that number is growing exponentially.
Oh shit.
And there was this other disease that spread recently, actually all over the world starting in 2020. I can't remember the name, but it may have come from a bat or some animal, or it may have been developed in a lab. It's tough to know for sure. If the lab leak is true, then, well, it may have been released by accident, but also maybe on purpose. Well, who knows, but I hear there's good money in pharmaceuticals. MK Ultra.
Unfortunately, yes. That's what it's all about, is money. They make bank off of the suffering of everyday people. They love it. They love it. Oh, we have a way to, avoid the illness that gets out, but everybody else, they're going to be paying us big bucks to get out of there. They're going to be paying us big money to get well, and they take full advantage of it. It's pretty sick, It's pretty sick world we live in. It would not surprise me
those people
if
without
it was
their consent.
intentional.
For 40 years, the U.S. Public Health Service told 400 black men in rural Alabama that they were receiving free treatment for bad blood. And they were actually being observed as their untreated syphilis progressed. And when penicillin became available as a treatment in the 1940s, it was deliberately withheld so the study could continue. Many of them died from a curable disease. Now, we could go on and on, but now we're starting to sound silly, so let's bring it back. The point is not that every
Tuskegee syphilis experiment where they gave all those black soldiers syphilis. It's fucked up. To have the cure and to know that, you could save these people.
unexplained death or
Sick, man.
disappearance is a government operation. It isn't. Most of them aren't. The point is that the instinct to say they would never do that, well, that instinct has been wrong before in documented, confirmed historical ways. And so when 6 people who carry highly sensitive knowledge in aerospace, energy, and defense research turn up dead or missing inside a year, the question of whether something deliberate is happening is not paranoid or fringe conspiracy. It's the exact right question to ask. And you're not weird to wonder what's going on.
No, everybody's talking about it.
What's going on is strange, and if you don't question the narrative or lack thereof, well, then you need to pay more attention. So that's going to do it for this week's episode of Everytown. I appreciate you tuning in.
Wow, I appreciate that video because you know what? It was a good breakdown of everything that was going on, what these people were associated with, what their jobs were, their specific roles, and the fact that one of them disappeared only 2 months ago. Next level scary. Fox News. Tenth missing scientist, ice UFO. Mystery deepens. We're going to know more. What? Trump says us will know more about Smith.
Missing scientists with access to classified stuff, nuclear material, aerospace. They've all gone missing or turned up dead in the last couple months. Based on what you've been briefed, what do you think is happening here? And do you think that this is connected or totally random?
Well, I hope it's random, but we're going to know.
It's too coincidental and too close to be random. There's something's going on here, sir. Something is going on. Something is not adding up. Something is amiss. It does not take a rocket scientist to realize this.
In the next week and a half, I just left the meeting on that subject, so pretty serious stuff. But we're going to be now, hopefully, I don't know, coincidence, if you whatever you want to call it. But some of them were very important people, and we're going to look at it over the next short time.
Thank you for watching.
I'd say a lot of them were very important people. Crazy. So apparently, no, it has nothing to do with Iran. This was about the missing scientists that we were just discussing a few minutes ago. Yeah, we were just discussing on very cool YouTuber, Scary Mysteries, by the way. Let me go ahead and subscribe to that guy's channel because I think that was a banger video. And let me go ahead and like that. That was really good. Just went over that, went over the whole missing scientist thing. I like how I said that, and then the narrator named Andrew repeated laugh my ass off. Just joining, are you reacting to anything specific, or it can be any topic? I mean, it just depends. If it's like spooky paranormal stuff, creepy topics, mysteries, murders, all that crazy shit, then definitely something I could probably check out. I'm not reacting just to everything, though, that's out there right now. Not everything, but what else do you got, guys? That was, I just kind of learned more about the missing scientists, though, and what they represented. Yeah, I'd say too suspicious. Too suspicious. Ugh. He knows. Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of them probably know, yeah. Yeah, there's no. We live in too much of a shady world where I highly doubt none of them know what's going on. Scary Mysteries is a fun channel to check out. I went down a deep rabbit hole with his stuff about a few years ago. I'm back. Had to move in a package. Oh, you're good. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Yeah, Scary Mysteries. That was what else do you got, buddy? What else do you do? Dead or missing. Yeah, a couple of them we don't even know if they're dead. They're actually just missing in general. Who knows? The wood chipper. Oh, you know, we should watch. Oh my god, dude. We could watch pedophiles getting beaten up. Sorry, PDF files. Oh, man, those are fun to watch. Those are fun to watch. I saw one where the guy walked up behind him. He lifted him in the air, and then the guy in front of him decked him in the face. It was fantastic. Hey, what's going on, Moss? Oh, so good. I'm at work, and I literally watch that shit. I mean, yeah. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. Hope you all are having a great one. Thank you so much for making it. If you guys like this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. It's just us reacting to crazy stuff. As a matter of fact, I have decided at some point here soon, I'm going to go ahead and sit down, potentially on a live stream, and react to Sam and Colby's Hell Week content from last year. Yeah, from last year. I haven't watched it yet. I'm debating on doing it live, and if you guys want to see it live, you got to let me know. Thank you so much. I actually watched it yesterday. I washed my car for the first time. That was fun, except I got, water drop stains on it because I didn't realize, you gotta... I don't wash cars too often, so it's a learning experience for me, but it's been fun. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. No. Okay. I wonder if I can find the content creator I watch. I'm not sure if he has a YouTube channel or not. Midwest Patrol I've heard of. This guy's pretty good. I'm pretty sure I've seen a couple of his videos. This fucking guy. This is the one I'm trying to figure out what his name is. Oh, come on. What is this guy's name? He does not give a fuck, by the way. He will smack the shit out of you. Fuck, what's this guy's name? Found him. Dads Against Predators. Yeah. And yeah, he slaps the shit out of... Let's see here. Do I need my tin foil hat for tonight? Maybe. Let's go. Oh, man.
I'm gonna call a relative. Pick me up.
No, we're not doing that.
What has this job done to your soul, looking into some of the darkest elements of humanity day after day?
I still get shocked to this day, because I ask them, why are you doing this? And to this day, 800 guys later, nobody can tell me why. You calling that little...
Now, this is Joshua.
Hold on. I want to actually see... Okay. Five, 6, 1 piece. Is this him? No. It's not him. Come on. It's Dads Against Predators. What am I fucking doing? Okay. Compilation. There we go. Not finding, I guess he doesn't have, like, a YouTube channel. He should, man. Oh, wait.
A few months ago, I watched what had to be one of the wildest encounters I've ever seen. This is a
Hold on.
I couldn't in front of me.
Fiber?
Okay. Where's the...
This is probably one of the craziest videos on the internet. You will not believe what happens. This weirdo was online talking to what he thought was a 13-year-old boy. After agreeing to meet up, the pedo was greeted by people
Threatening me, why are you harassing me?
Weirdo realizes he's been bamboozled. He immediately starts to panic and freaks out.
Why are you here? Why are you just threatening me? Why are you harassing me, please?
Harassing you? That's funny. Harassing you, bro? You're trying to be my 13-year-old little brother.
Why would I do such a thing?
He then starts yelling and screaming like a little-ass girl. And then he runs out the store. He gets in his car, and this is where
Dude,
things
watch what
go
he
0
does.
to 100. He immediately floors it like SpongeBob and crashes into a sign. He then attempts to drive off and scrapes another car on the way out. Once he realizes he's fucked, he stops the car and attempts a 40-yard dash. He then gets tackled and is held down until police arrive. Subscribe.
Yeah, I want to see the full video, though. It's fucking crazy. The guy is obviously on some sort of drugs. He's just completely... He's fucked, man. And... Yeah, he was on crystal meth. Yeah. I really wanted to see that one video. One sec.
Go get him. Get him. Jinkies.
Lost his glasses.
Jinkies. Oh, Scoob. What kind of mysteries we got
Why
ourselves
the
into today, Alan?
Why are you doing this?
Because you're a
No, I'm not.
You can't even meet a little boy talking about how many guys you got
I'm
with.
interested in, man, okay? I'm not interested. I just want to go home.
You think I'm selling you something?
I just want to
Yo,
go
these
home.
pred catches are getting out of hand. They had this man crawling like he was looking for a revive in Fortnite.
Yep.
They got this man doing the Velma special. They got this man on the floor in a Target.
The Velma
yelling
special.
Jinkies. That is actually embarrassing. And what's even more embarrassing is that this man was out here saying, "I'm not interested," as if he didn't just try to link up with a teenager. He's acting like this man is some sort of
His fucking life is an embarrassment. Let's be real. The dude's life is an embarrassment. Anybody who's associated with that man would be embarrassed.
door salesman. I mean, I did try to meet up with a little boy, but I'm not interested. Like, bro, he's not trying to sell you something. He's trying to get you locked
All
up
right.
in that slammer.
I want to watch the video. Sorry about this.
Beating up these predators.
You said maybe. That's not acting affirmative or disavowed. You keep pointing that finger at me, and you're gonna get your ringed. Now, maybe isn't a good answer.
He
to
bolts
try to
it.
pick
I
up
remember
with
this. He bolts it.
pick
He
up
runs.
little boys. Is it? Is maybe a good answer? We gotta try to take off here.
Fucking man.
Go, he's trying to pick up little kids. Oh, I missed.
Oh,
This
I
man's
missed.
Trying to pick up a little boy on the internet.
What? Oh, they ruined it by blurring that shit. I understand why they're doing it, but man, he gets fucking shoved into a display table and he just goes, he slides, man. I don't think he's drunk. I just think he got the shit smacked out of him. Yeah. I understand why they're blurring it, but man, I really wanted...
Guys, I'm gonna tell you why.
Go for it.
We're not,
Come on, there has to be like a compilation or something, right?
So please.
It's not in this one.
Oh, no.
That's an alley-oop smack.
Oh, fuck.
Good assist, bud. That's that Chris Paul to butt.
That was literally like the wombo combo right there. And look, I know what you're gonna. I'll say right now, I have no sympathy for people like this. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I really, really don't. I don't mind seeing them get the shit smacked out of them. Because if they weren't caught, guess what they would be doing? Yeah. So. He got fucking ragdolled right there.
That's an alley. It's not in this one.
Oh, no.
That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me.
That's an alley-oop smack. That Chris Paul to butt Griffin. Come on now.
No, please, sir. Oh, no. So please.
It's not.
And they try to act like they're... They put on these sad faces. They're like trying to act like, I didn't know any better. I'm sorry, sir. Please, just let me go home. I won't do it again. And then literally... I've seen episodes of To Catch a Predator where somebody has come back several times throughout the series because they'd get caught again. After telling Chris that they would never do it again. So don't give me that shit. Yeah, don't give me that shit. Yeah. Oh, wait, whoa. The best moments. There we go. Come on, have a compilation for this at least, right? 3 unforgettable Chris Hansen interactions. Oh, here we go.
What are you doing here today?
Is this some kind of setup or something?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most intense run-ins with Chris Hansen on To Catch a Predator or Crime Watch Daily.
Oh, I'm not angry.
You're coming across in a very angry and authoritative sense.
Coming off
Number 10,
extremely
Brian
angry.
Gosselin,
You're hurting my
AKA
feelings.
Bay Jones. This 32-year-old was one of the many troubled yet gullible individuals who fell right into Dateline's trap. Despite claiming he knew it was a setup the moment he saw Chris Hansen,
is chowing down on them cookies.
Gosselin was still brazen enough to show up to what he thought was the house of a minor.
I got some wine coolers.
Wine coolers are just fine.
You weren't kidding when you said a big house.
I know, the house is beautiful. I love my house.
Yeah.
His chat with the decoy was loose, bizarre, and often passive-aggressive. During the investigation, he tersely remarked that he wasn't wanted here.
What was that? They're not innocent at all. Electronics taken by the cops. We'd all see different story. People like that never change. Yep, I agree. I love your videos. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Yeah, those guys were innocent and being beaten up at the target. They would call the cops themselves guilty. Yeah, they're not going to call the cops because that's the last thing they want is the fucking cops showing up. That's 100% right. Chris is so young here. I know. He's still, he's still actually working today. He's actually trying to bring down, I think, a lot of the Roblox people right now. Yeah, he's trying to do that. So... Oh, it's fantastic. It's utterly fantastic.
Before indignantly storming off.
See, I knew this was going to be a setup. You did? Yeah.
Love when they say that
How did you
shit.
know that?
I knew this was going to be a setup. As a matter of fact, I wanted to meet you. Love it when they start saying shit. Can I join you guys? I want to teach kids why this is bad. It's like, oh yeah, nice try. Yeah, nice fucking try.
Just because of the way she was talking online.
Gosselin's standout moment came when Hansen asked him about his last name, to which he responded,
I don't have a last name. You don't have a last name.
Oh, that's convenient. Number 9, Michael Joseph Patterson, a.k.a. John Raven 2000. This quote-unquote lonely Indiana native claimed to be a detective lieutenant. But as it turned out, there was more to it.
Oh, this is crazy. This episode is freaking insane. Oh my God. Do you know what happens in this episode, anybody? Do you know what happens in this one? One of my favorite takedowns ever.
Story. Shortly after starting an online chat, Patterson drove over 5 hours to the Sting House in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Now, we have to assume that John Raven 2000 is a police officer and he's armed.
In addition to claiming he was an officer, he had told the decoy that he always carried a gun, which understandably raised concerns for the investigative team. Upon arrival, decoy Casey was directed to make Patterson prove he wasn't armed, but not wanting to take any chances, the police tased him during his arrest. As it turns out, Patterson had been a reserve cop, but
they skipped the part where they tased him, but they chased him back into the house when he realized it was a police takedown situation. He ran back into the house. Chris and his guys ran up the stairs trying to get away from him, and the cops shoot him with a taser, and he is screaming his head off.
Had been dismissed.
I got some blue red lights, and I put them in my car. It was thrown out of court, so they dismissed me for that.
Number 8, Michael Willis, a.k.a. generic white male. The Fort Myers investigation sure attracted some colorful characters, but perhaps none more so than this cookie-loving 49-year-old.
I'm just on my way to the beach.
He's Michael Willis, screen name generic white male.
After chatting with a perverted justice decoy for more than a week, Willis decided he wanted to book a hotel room with Jolanda. He arrived at the Sting House in high spirits, munching on cookies and barely looking fazed by Chris Hansen. That is, until Hansen let Willis know he had the transcript of his illicit chat.
What? No way.
You know, I have the transcript of your conversation with...
So you weren't here to meet an underage girl? No, that's crazy. Why would I do that? No, that's horrible. You'd have to be a horrible person to do something like that. Well, you know I have your transcript right here. Then they just let him read.
Jolanda.
From there, Willis spitefully flung his cookie and rushed out the door, tripping down the stairs in the process. Yeah, and the sucker never made it to the beach either.
I don't want this cookie. I just want to get to the beach.
Come here, just 1 second, sir.
But generic white male won't be going to the beach today. As
I don't
he
want
heads
this
out
cookie.
the back, he stumbles off the porch right into the arms of the Fort Myers Police Department.
Number 7, Maurice Wolin, a.k.a. Tall Dreamy
Oh,
Tom.
yeah.
Even on To Catch a Predator, it's rare that we see such a spectacular fall from grace. And we're not just talking about this guy's margarita or sunglasses. Prior to being caught in the Petroluma, California investigation, Wolin was a respected physician and cancer researcher with a wife and 2 daughters. When he showed up at the Sting House,
This guy, when he gets caught by the police, he gets pissed. He like throws his keys and wallet on the ground and says like fuck or something like that. Sorry, I thought I was hearing like a cat fight.
Spilled a blended drink all over the bar.
I can't. Oh, jeez.
So where are you coming from?
San Francisco.
While looking for a towel, he spotted the Dateline camera crew and bolted for the exit. But police caught up with Wolin, prompting him to throw his sunglasses to the ground in frustration.
He runs, but he doesn't get very far.
On the ground. I wasn't going to do it.
Needless to
I wasn't
say,
gonna do
Wolin's
nothing.
appearance in the episode didn't do his career any favors.
Oh, man. I wasn't doing anything. Get his keys. I wasn't doing anything.
Number 6, Rabbi David Kay, a.k.a. Red BD. Because Kay was a well-respected
Rabbi.
religious leader, his case is particularly disturbing. During the second
There had to be one. There had to be one.
Which took place in Fairfax, Virginia, the rabbi was busted for coming to meet what he thought was a teenage boy.
What are you doing as a man of God, as a rabbi, in this house, trying to meet a 13-year-old boy?
I'm really, I don't want to do anything that's going to further make you angry.
He discovered the decoy while, in his own words, prowling for young men on the internet. Chris Hansen seemed rightfully disgusted with the middle-aged man, whose job as a rabbi was to maintain the trust of people in his community.
I am not interested in getting any further. This is not something that I've done.
You've never done this before.
As soon as the camera came out, Kay leapt
He
to
does.
his feet and
He just does not come off honest in the slightest. The way he's trying to explain himself to Chris. I would not. The look on his face, I would not trust a single fucking thing this guy said to me.
man, did they stop filming. He proceeded to try to sue
Tase him.
Dateline and left several threatening messages to the crew. Not that they were really.
Oh yeah, he gets physical.
You don't want to touch anybody. You don't want it. It was really one of the only time really, where somebody actually physically lunged at me. Now looking back, I really don't think I was in much danger.
Number 5, John Michael Dupay. To Catch a Predator.
This guy is freaking creepy, man. This guy right here is creepy. He's not the creepiest one. I think we're going to get to... I hope they have the creepiest one on here. No. Maybe. I'm not seeing him, though. This guy, though.
Predator spin-off series on Crime Watch Daily may have aired nearly a decade after the original investigations, but Hansen vs. Predator proved the epidemic was far from over. A former UPS package handler, Dupay juggled conversations with not one but two decoys, using cringe-worthy nicknames like Boo and Baby throughout.
What'd you bring? What did you bring?
Presents.
What do you got?
Shit.
Show me.
He had his unsuspecting
He gets too close,
sister
man.
drop him off at the Sting.
He gets like way too close. If I'm not mistaken, he even hugs her. Now, I don't think these are actually like kids. I'm pretty sure these are like actually adults that look younger and they pretend to be kids just to kind of, yeah. But Chris normally, when something like that happens, where he, like these people like get close to them, he normally steps in to make sure that doesn't happen. But a couple of times, he's not quick enough, and they actually manage to hug the decoy.
House in Fairfield, Connecticut, where he brought the actress Cheetos, Snapple, and dark chocolate.
So what do you want to do?
A hug?
I don't know.
An exceedingly awkward confrontation with Chris Hansen followed, but not before Dupay could request a hug from the decoy. Due to his heinous behavior,
his world shut down real fast right there when he realized Chris, have a seat over there. He knew right away.
Ended up serving several years in prison.
What do you think should happen to you?
Sir, I'm not like that and a bad guy.
How does this look? How does that look? John, you tell me. How does it look?
He's
Number 4, Walter Babst, a.k.a. Kinky Man in Corona. Every once in a while, we meet a potential predator whose occupation makes us especially uncomfortable. In this case, it's Walter Babst, or John Hunter, an alias, who was in fact a high school teacher before being caught in the To Catch a Predator web. His chat with perverted justice was extra graphic. When Hansen appeared, Babst oscillated between proclaiming his innocence and begging to be arrested on the spot.
Why don't you have a seat right over there, please? And right away.
I'm under arrest?
No, I want to talk to you. Go ahead, have a seat.
Amazingly, he went back to teaching only a few days after the investigation, though it didn't take long for the school to find out what Babst had been up to, besides getting his ass kicked.
But when I tell him that I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on computer predators. Now, if there's anything else you'd like to say, he knows that this is even worse than getting arrested.
Number 3, Lauren Armstrong, a.k.a. Lauren A.
Yep, because now the world sees you for what you are. It's not just about your community and you can lie your way out of a situation. Oh, that was just a big misunderstanding. You were caught on a fucking television show. You're done.
20014. The final Dateline sting saw one of the longest chat logs in To Catch a Predator history. Across 407 sickening pages, Armstrong solicited, manipulated, and declared his love for a young decoy named Kayla. He also exposed himself via webcam and requested she delete all evidence of their communication.
But he clearly knows what he's doing is wrong, telling her to delete all
Yep,
evidence
they all
of their
do though.
chat log.
Dude, they all know it's wrong. That's the problem. They all know it's wrong. Even the people you would not expect to think that they might not know any better, they even know it's wrong because they know they're about to be in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's... Yeah.
Okay. Delete your archives and remember, Mrs. Kayla Marie Armstrong, I love you more than anything.
On Armstrong's 37th birthday, he opted to celebrate with the teenage Kayla, whom he seemed utterly delighted to meet. His encounter with Chris Hansen was filled with...
What I find interesting is the one who are like, Chris Hansen, I've seen your show, and yet they are never prepared for the cams and buttload of cops. Yeah, I've noticed that too. Yep, they're like, oh no. Yeah, they're camera. Well, some do. Some realize they're like, they're camera people. It's like, oh, yep, there they are. They start walking out. They're like, I'm going to get arrested. I already know I am. The cops are waiting for me out there. Can I just go and get it over with? And yep, they just accept it.
Nervous laughter and a clumsy attempt to blame his actions on a past catfishing experience.
After she got off the phone, she was only on the phone with her for about 2 minutes, and she got off the phone with her and told me that she wasn't real.
She wasn't real.
She told me she was lying to me, and she'd been lying to me all along.
Did you ever meet this woman?
10 years after his arrest, Armstrong tried to capitalize on his infamy by starting a YouTube channel, which went about as well as his
I heard about
attempt
that.
to meet the decoy. Many happy returns, Lauren.
Throw me a bone here. And I hope your minds are off sexual crap. Because I'm talking, help me out a little bit and support me away from the NBC crap.
Yeah, the fact that he attempted to even bring out a YouTube channel. Whoa, it kind of reminded me of the whole Casey Anthony thing where she tried to become like an influencer. Or Gypsy Rose Blanchard, now trying to be a freaking content creator, trying to get famous and shit. It's like, man, some of these criminals. Man.
Number 2, Todd Spikes, aka loves to eat your peach. Interestingly, Spikes never actually came face to face with Chris Hansen at the Flagler Beach Sting House. But perhaps that was for the best.
I don't know if I remember this one.
A police officer himself, Spikes carried on a detailed conversation with the girl he believed to be a minor named Lindsay.
You better not tell anyone.
He responds,
I won't, sweetie. I can't. I'd go to prison, and that's like a death sentence. Inmates hate cops. They try to kill them in prison.
In addition to mentioning...
You know what I think inmates hate more than cops? Predators. And you know what would make it worse? If a cop was a predator. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
Explicit acts.
I'd be surprised if he's alive today.
Moving in with the girl and becoming her mother's boyfriend.
Spike says he could become the mother's...
believe it or not, like a lot of prisoners, they have kids of their own. And they will not let that slide. I mean, there was somebody in a prison where he killed his cellmate because the guy was bragging about doing stuff with a minor, and he told him to shut the fuck up. That's sick. And he wouldn't. He kept making jokes, so he killed him. And the next day, they were asking him, why'd you do it? What do you regret it? He's like, I don't regret killing that man. I don't regret doing that. It's one less predator in the world. Pretty much. Yeah, had no issues with it whatsoever. Because they do not. That's just like one of those things. It's just that's the fine line, and a lot of them do not let it. They do not like people who cross that line.
Boyfriend, come to live at their house.
Amazingly, it got even more terrifying when police searched Spikes' car. They found numerous firearms, about 800 rounds of ammunition, and what appeared to be a body dump kit. We shudder to imagine what might have happened if Spikes hadn't been caught.
There was probably an angel sitting on everybody's shoulder that night.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel.
Angel sitting on...
We shudder to imagine what arms about 800 rounds of ammunition and what appeared to be a body dump kit.
A body dump kit. Not only was he probably planning on doing stuff with this minor, but then probably trying to get rid of the evidence. Oh yeah, he's probably done. He's probably, I would not be surprised. What's this fucking guy's name? Todd Spikes. He was arrested for parole violation back in 2012. He was released in August of 2015. He currently lives in Alabama and is a sex offender in the state of Alabama. Yikes. Yikes.
AKA loves to eat your peach. Interestingly, Spikes never actually came face to face with Chris Hansen at the... Number 1, Clifford Wallach, AKA Photo...
This episode, if you're a parent, this episode probably pissed you off more than anything else. He brought his little kid with him to go do stuff with, if I'm not mistaken, a little boy. Yeah.
Fix.
I remember this one.
As depraved as these actions already are, bringing your kid along adds an entirely new level of sociopathy. And to everyone's shock, even Chris Hansen's, that's exactly what Wallach did during the investigation in Fort Myers, Florida.
I'm not going to pursue this.
The final visitor of the day, Wallach horrified all involved when he exited his SUV with his young son in tow. Knowing immediately this was a unique situation, the team sent Hansen out right away to tell Wallach what was happening. Wallach was promptly arrested,
we're not gonna
and his
do
son
this.
separated from him by police. According to Wallach, it was all his wife's fault due to a lack of intimacy in their marriage. Nice job, Father of the Year.
Please give me my son, please.
Did we miss any unforgettable To Catch a Predator encounters? Why don't you take a seat and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, he didn't really go into full detail about like the episodes and whatnot, but I remember when he started walking up with his kid to the back door or something like that. It was like back door, front door, whatever. And he literally is like holding his child, and then Chris comes out and says, "You know what you did. I'm not going to pursue this. I don't know why you brought your little boy. but go ahead, take him, get out of here. And that's when the police kind of came to him in the parking, like in the driveway. You know, one of the female officers came up, picked up the kid, tried to cheer him up, and they arrested the dad, yeah. But that blew their minds completely. Creepy shit. Yeah, so let's watch something spooky related now. Let's get off this predator shit. It's, you know, it's funny as fuck when you watch them get busted and arrested, but what do you guys want me to watch? What do you guys want me to watch? Anything ghost related, paranormal, cryptid related? I'm about out of water. And he said it was worth it? Yeah, fucking guy sucks. Salad fingers. Jesus. Oh, yeah, pathetic. That's the one I'm talking about right there. This guy right here. He was caught on Chris Hansen's show like twice. This guy.
Good, how are you? What's happening?
Not him. Not him. I remember this guy, though. He got arrested out front. Oh, man. Hey, what's up, Sister of the Moon? How you doing? Thank you so much for hopping on in. Yeah, this guy, though, he was an asshole, man. Now, I was thinking about the Lurch Predator. He was creepy, man. The strangest I'm sure it's probably in that one. Sam and Colby's new video's out now. Josh and Juicy are in it. It's pretty good. Where do they investigate this time? Sam and Colby. Definitely probably won't watch it because, honestly, I probably should watch their Hell Week stuff at some point here soon. Yeah, that stuff right there. The worst night of his life. Juicy and Josh are in that one. That's kind of cool. Our scariest night in a hotel. Circus Manor. What? Hey, my own live stream. Trying to think of what the fuck I should watch. We are one of the few smaller creators that actually have a Warren House video out. No kidding. What's your name? Our... Oh, yep. Yes, you do. Look at that. The Warren's Museum with Annabelle. Nice, nice. Congratulations. Congratulations on that. That's pretty cool. Seems like you guys got several videos out. Never Whistle in Appalachia After Dark. Poltergeist activity captured in old Appalachian building. Connecting with spirits at the Madison Dry Goods. Only been doing it for a year and already 1,000 subscribers. Nice, nice. Mr. Nightmare. Mr. Nightmare, Unexplainable Horror Stories. 3 disturbing, true hunting horror stories. Hunting horror stories could go very wrong. Pretty sure we reacted to the Easter one recently, didn't we? Gas station horror stories, that's a fun one. Don't think I reacted to that one, though. I reacted to another one, but not that one. Blizzard horror stories. Yikes. That is a scary concept. New Year's Eve horror stories. Christmas horror stories. So disturbing true janitor horror stories. 4th of July's coming up. Uber stories. It's one of the, I will never understand becoming an Uber driver. I just won't. I think that's the Easter one I reacted to from a year ago, yeah. Let's get something going.
This experience happened to me in 2020. The world was shutting down because of COVID and everyone was cooped up in their homes. Being an avid backpacker and
Yo,
camper,
what's up, Candy?
I used COVID as an excuse to travel to different national parks and camp out in different places.
As you should.
One of those places was a creek in Rocky Mountain National Park, Colorado. Without giving away my identity or revealing too much personal information, let's just say something happened with my job back in 2019 that caused my reputation to kind of suffer a bit, and a good number of people despised me. I had to change apartments, get a new phone number, and eventually quit my job. The mistake
What the fuck did you do?
In 2019 that caused my reputation to kind of suffer a bit, and a good number of people despised me. I had to change apartments, get a new phone number, and eventually quit my job. The mistake I made caused a good number of people to lose a lot of money, so the shitstorm was expected. I just didn't know how far it would go.
Thank you so much for that donation.
That was
very sweet of you. Thank you so much. Let me heart that really quick. How are you doing? Thank you so much for hopping on in. We're just watching some Mr. Nightmare creepy camping stories. Seems like he lost his a lot of people around him a lot of money.
Literally getting harassed by different random numbers for a while. Some texts were even threatening. I didn't know if they were from the same person or different people each time, but I considered the possibility that it was one person texting me from a bunch of different numbers. For a while it seemed to stop, and I was grateful.
Damn, that hits. That's relatable. One person messaging from a bunch of different numbers. I just want to thank you for all what you do. Thank you so much. That is very sweet of you. Well, thank you guys. Very sweet. Thank you.
Grateful that people seem to lose interest or just move on. I wasn't working around this time. I was taking time to myself, hence another reason I was traveling around to different national parks. I drove the 3 hours to Rocky Mountain National Park, parked my truck, and started my hike up the trail to the creek. There was nobody else there. I'm sure that was because this was right when the lockdown started and people were taking it very seriously and not leaving their houses. That, and it was also still the winter time. There was a thin sheet of snow on the ground, hard enough that it made that loud crunching sound with every footstep. After a little while, I made it to the creek, and it wasn't frozen. It was still flowing. It was incredibly peaceful, and this was a detox I needed from the stresses of my life at the time.
Bigfoot.
I found a place a little ways off the path to set up camp. After the tent was set up, I chopped up some wood, started a fire, I cooked some sausages on the stove. Then I started...
Ooh, were they jalapeno sausages?
Reading my book by the fire. After finishing a few chapters, it was getting dark out. Thank God for headlamps. I rolled a J and started smoking it. After
I rolled a J and started smoking. Man, what did you do to cost all those people that money?
Few hits.
I'm not sure if he said.
I felt my phone start going off. Honestly, apart from my family, I don't have a lot of people texting me. So I pulled out my phone from my jacket pocket and saw a bunch of texts from an unknown number. My heart skipped a beat when I realized it was happening again. The texts were from a number with a 203 area code, which I looked up to be Connecticut. Whoever it was texted me saying, "How's your camping going, buddy?"
Fuck.
The second text said, "It's beautiful out here." The third text said, "I see why you came up here." My default reaction was to respond, "Who is this?" If they simply left it at "How's the camping going?" I would have assumed it was a family member, but they were sending messages as if they were here with me. The weed had already entered my system, and I was definitely high. This did not help my anxiety one bit.
Yeah, this is a terrible time for somebody to try to play Scream with me.
I felt extremely paranoid and started looking around me, standing up and doing a complete 360, looking in every direction out to the increasingly darkening woods. I went to get my P365 handgun from my bag just to make me feel safer. Usually I'd put a fire out before calling it a night, but as paranoid as I was feeling now, the thought of being in total darkness freaked me out. I went into the tent and crawled onto my sleeping bag. I stared at my phone, at the texts, waiting for a response which didn't come. Minutes dragged on, and I just wanted the weed to wear off, honestly. I still had my headlamp on, so I tried to continue where I left off in my book, but between being high and my mind being stuck on those texts, I was kidding myself thinking I could read.
How the fuck can you even read at this point when someone told you that? Like, in my opinion, I'd be getting in my vehicle and driving. I don't think he was specified if he was like in a vehicle or anything. I think he was like in a tent. I'd assume he had some sort of vehicle somewhere.
I decided to just watch YouTube videos on my phone to pass the time. I didn't feel comfortable going to sleep just yet. I was watching some murder documentary on YouTube. I know, a pretty interesting choice considering the setting. And when I least expected it, I got another text.
Dude, not just the setting. You literally have a stalker out there. And you're wanting to watch a true crime documentary about murder? Hi? Dude. He must have lived, and that must have been one hell of an insane night.
A response to my question before. They responded, doesn't matter anymore. My heart started racing all over again. I replied back, how did you know I'm camping? But once again, no response after this. The anxiety of this situation was weighing heavier and heavier on me. Was this a prank by a friend or family member? Or was this one of those people harassing me again? But if it was the latter, how would they know I'm camping? That's the really uncomfortable part. I managed to kill an hour just watching videos on my phone, and I noticed the glow from the fire outside was growing dimmer and dimmer as the fire died down to almost nothing. In the wintertime, without the sound of bugs, the woods are dead silent apart from wind on a windy night.
Yeah.
The second a video would stop playing, the silence would become deafening. Usually I'd embrace the peace, but my peace was completely disturbed because of these texts. Something then broke the silence.
A twig?
The unmistakable sound of human footsteps in the snow. They approached my tent until they were only maybe 6 feet from outside the tent.
You shoot
then
the tent.
The footsteps stopped. I had the gun tightly gripped in my hand, ready to turn the safety off. There was suddenly a flash from outside. It looked like someone briefly shined a flashlight at the tent.
Holy
they
shit.
took a picture. I had my answer soon enough.
He sent him the picture?
I heard the person walk away now, before their footsteps slowly faded out to silence.
He sent the picture, right?
As I expected to happen in the back of my mind, my phone dinged and vibrated, and that number sent me a photo. The photo was of my tent. Following that was a text that said, "Have a good night's sleep." I can't explain it, but suddenly it felt like I completely snapped out of the remainder of my high, and a bout of adrenaline and confidence overwhelmed me. I unzipped the tent and shot 2 rounds into the air, and the sound of footsteps running away in the snow and
the second they realized the dude had a gun, they're like, oh shit, just fucking booked it.
Not so far distance told me that it worked and scared the person off.
Oh shit.
It also disturbed me even more, that would mean they were still hiding somewhere in the distance, watching. I screamed a threat into the air and climbed back inside my tent. I believe it worked because there were no more texts and no more sounds of footsteps. I was awake for hours after, simply because the occurrence completely woke me up. I felt like I drank 3 cups of coffee. Eventually, I did fall asleep, and waking up to morning sunlight was a huge relief. Whoever followed me there was not ready for me to pull a gun. I definitely don't seem the type of person that would own a gun, and
How
I know
rude.
that. That was my first time shooting that gun since buying it, and in fact my only time to this day. Whoever had been texting me, harassing me, and apparently stalking me, apparently decided to back off when they found out I had a gun, because almost 5 years later now, and I haven't been bothered. Still,
Good.
It was a nightmarish night, and I can't
When in doubt, just shoot a couple rounds in the air.
imagine how differently it might have turned out if I wasn't armed.
Hell yeah, man. Don't play that shit.
During my childhood, every year my family would have a tradition where we'd all go up to northern Michigan for a weekend in October. Our Uncle Jim used to own a 4-acre property up there.
Yeah.
The house on the property could fit a lot of people, with 5 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. 2 bedrooms were set up for my cousins and my siblings, so my brother and sister in one room and our 4 cousins in another room. The other rooms were for all of our parents. My Uncle Jim has always been a big hunter and fisherman. He'd go on camping trips specifically for hunting all around the country.
Uncle Jim.
My dad has gone camping with him a few times, even though he's an animal lover and would never harm a fly. Part of the 4
To be kind of fair, I'm kind of the same way. I'm an animal lover. I wouldn't mind shooting a gun, but I probably would not shoot anything. That's just me. I eat meat. I had steak literally the other night, but I take no pleasure in shooting animals. I just don't. That's just me though. I know a lot of people love hunting. That's weird. I like fishing. I just am not a big hunter. Yeah. Yeah, the Pink Angel, how are you doing, by the way? And thank you guys again for the donations. That was extremely sweet of you. You didn't have to do that. But I might actually start doing these live reactions more often, if you guys so wish. Just reacting to random videos. It doesn't have to be just Sam and Colby, big ghost hunting channels. It can just be random stuff like this. Mr. Nightmare, Mr. Ballin, To Catch a Predator clips, watching predators get the shit kicked out of them, mystery videos, things like that. And you guys just hear my opinions and thoughts on most of that stuff live. Yeah, just kind of easier to just get several videos kicked out, honestly. So the more successful these videos are, the more I'll start doing them. I literally did one about 6-7 days ago. So if you guys want, after this one, go support that video, show it a lot of love, and get that one going up with its likes, and maybe YouTube will actually start pushing them out more, and I'll start doing these more often live. Kind of like how Moist Critical does his live streams, where he'll react to stuff live, talk to you guys about his opinions and whatnot, have conversations with the actual chat. It's kind of what I'm trying to get at with my live streams. So if this is something you want to see more of, definitely just, show support as much as you possibly can.
Acres that my uncle owned was a big chunk of forest. He marked a line of trees with red paint to mark the property line. Beyond,
I should probably say, I can't be on much longer because I do have to take a shower and then get ready for work. I do go to work at 10 o'clock tonight. It's already 7:30. So I literally, after this, I have 1 more hour before I have to be out the door. So.
And that was just forest owned by the county. I don't know. The nearest house in that direction was probably miles away.
Which means you have 1 hour to support this video as much as physically possible. As much as possible. 1 hour.
Me, my brother Adam, and my cousins Jake and Joe all came up with an idea
Don't
at
hesitate.
lunch when our dads were talking about hunting.
Don't think about it. If you think about it, you're not going to
We
do
wanted
it.
to go camping in the woods that night. Our dads were on board with it. They were definitely already kind of drunk, so more likely to say yes to stuff. Our moms weren't as on board, but they didn't directly say no. So my dad and Uncle Jim took the 4 of us into the woods with a tent.
Okay.
My girl cousins and sister were not involved in this. It was just us boys. They led us into the woods, and when Joey, the youngest of us, started complaining that it's too far, they started laughing. That's how our dads are when they're together, especially when they drink. They loved messing with us as kids. Speaking of ages, I'm oldest.
Yep.
At the time, I was around 13. Adam and Jake were around 10, and Joe was around 9. We went beyond the property line, as there was this small clearing in the woods with a bunch of soft green, mossy-looking stuff that my uncle referred to as deer beds, I'm pretty sure. He said it was perfect for a campsite, and that he's used it before. My dad and Uncle Jim kind of gave us a half-drunk lesson on setting up a tent. They made us help out so that it wasn't just them doing all of the work. It was a really big tent, big enough for 4 people, especially kids. Once it was set up, we put our sleeping bags inside. We did this during the day because obviously it was infinitely easier than doing it at night. After all of that, we went back to the house and played games outside until dinner time. At dinner, our moms again expressed that they weren't fans of this idea, that we were too young to be out in the woods alone. Our dads insisted that we'd be fine, and I remember my dad making a joke that we'd be close enough for them to hear our screams if something were to go wrong.
Legit, those half-ass drunken dads probably ran out there with rifles and shit, started shooting everywhere once something bad happened, right? Because that's what it's leading up to. Something's going to happen that's going to scare them, and their dads are going to run out there with their guns. Or they're not. That's going to be the sad part. They're not going to run out there with guns because they're too wasted and passed out to even do anything.
Later on, that our
the moms
dads
come out
led
with
us back into the
guns.
woods to the tent. We all had flashlights and extra blankets since it was cold at night. I also brought a deck of Uno cards for us to play.
Dope.
When we all got situated in the tent, my dad and Uncle Jim left back to the house. We were suddenly alone in the woods. Honestly, we weren't as close to the house as you think. We were deep enough into the woods where you couldn't see any light from the house. We started playing Uno for a while. I'd say half an hour at least. Playing Uno is actually a really good time killer. It passes the time really well.
Yeah, it is.
The tent was
Especially
lit
when
up
you're
by our
raging.
flashlights arranged in a circle. All was fun and swell until we heard a scream in the distance.
Bobcat.
It sounded like a girl's scream. We all went
Bobcat.
silent and looked at one another with the same faces. I then remembered that Fox's screams sound like the scream of a woman, so I told everyone that.
Yep.
I saw how freaked out Joe was especially, but my statement calmed everyone down. We continued to play Uno. I actually won like every single round. At that point, no
Or a mountain lion. Let's just hope it's a bobcat or a fox.
one had mentioned the scream again. It was most likely out of all of our minds. But it happened again, and much louder and closer this time. This time, it sounded a lot more human. We all went silent again. This time, even I was freaked out. Joe looked like he was going to cry. I told
would have been
everyone to
crying.
turn their flashlights off. We crawled to our respective sleeping bags and sat in the darkness. None of us had the courage
I
to
feel
run
it.
out into the woods back to the house.
You know, I feel the intensity here because I've been in similar situations to where, you know, you hear something, you're already nervous, you're scared, you're paranoid, and you don't want to make a fucking noise because you're scared whatever's out there or whatever's around you is going to hear you and it's going to come at you.
Fear of
I feel it.
running and being chased, and just catching the attention of whatever was out there with the sound of our footsteps. Somehow hiding inside of a cloth tent felt like the safer option, so we waited and waited in silence. We still whispered amongst each other, wondering if it could still be a fox. I was truthful and said, I don't know, hopefully. I don't know who heard it first, but we all sprung up and looked at one another again when we heard very fast footsteps crunching the leaves approaching the tent. Then they stopped, and there was an ear-piercing, gut-wrenching scream that sounded like a girl or woman's scream.
Fuck my life.
It was right outside the tent, and the tent started shaking violently. All of us started screaming. Jake and Jim were screaming in fear.
Oh my
while
God,
my brother
dude.
and I were screaming stuff like, get out of the tent. I unzipped the door to the tent, and one by one, we all ran into the woods with our flashlights on, the only reason we could see anything. That run back to the house was the most on-edge moment of my life, like a life or death kind of feeling. We made it to the property screaming the whole way, and our entire family was already outside in response to it. All four of us made it back safely. We explained the screams and the tent shaking, and they were all shocked and horrified based on their reactions. Then I noticed our cousins Jamie and Christina and my sister weren't outside. I called out my dad and uncle, accusing them of sending one of the girls to scare us, but when he showed us that the girls were already in bed, that's when it was clear. Someone we didn't know was out in the woods. Our dads went out to the woods with a couple of rifles and returned after a while, having found nobody. The next day, we all helped in bringing the tent and other stuff back to the house. Obviously, you can guess that was a one-and-done thing. We never camped out in those woods again. Hell, we didn't even play outside after dark anymore. What kid would after such an experience? My guess is as good as anybody's as to who was outside of our tent and why they were doing what they did.
I mean, there's still a possibility it was an animal, you know, scratching at the tent, trying to get into it, but it doesn't mean it was a woman, like an actual full-grown woman. I feel like if it was a woman, they might have tried to open the tent if they're having an episode, but it doesn't sound like they did. I don't know. It's crazy that they all decided to get up out of the tent, though, and start running in different directions. If it was a wild animal, that's a good way of getting yourself hurt. I don't know, man. That was crazy. Got intense, though. Sound effects didn't help.
What I'm about to tell you still leaves me to question what is real and what's not. This happened to my dad and I, and even now, 2 years later, I get chills just thinking about it. I know how it sounds. If I were you, I wouldn't believe it either, but I swear to you, every word is true.
Okay.
2 years ago, my dad and I traveled to go camping at a spot out in the deep country. We enjoyed doing this, as it was often a very nice time to get away from real life. This place in particular was a nice spot. Hiking trails, zip lines, a bit touristy, but it has deep history. Native American lands, you know? First night there, it was perfect. Families at other campsites, campfires everywhere, kids laughing. The kind of peaceful night you go camping for.
Yep.
We cooked hot dogs, roasted marshmallows, cracked open a few beers, and made small talk with the people around us. A typical peaceful first night. But the second night is when things started to change. The staff told us we were the only ones in the park. Nobody else booked a site at first. We were psyched. A whole campground to ourselves. It sounded peaceful. We spent the day hiking, fishing, taking it slow. At one point, we listened to a scary podcast while sitting by the river.
That's right.
Because, you know, why not lean into the spooky atmosphere? We thought we were being funny. By the time the sun started setting, we were feeling good. A little buzzed from the beer.
You know, just go watch like Wrong Turn or something. I'd bring a portable DVD player, and I'd just put on Wrong Turn or Friday the 13th.
Tired in that satisfying way after a long day outdoors. We decided to head to the park's information center to charge our phones and grab some snacks before it got too dark. The walk back to our campsite, that's when the unease set in. The woods felt different. The air was heavier. The sky had this weird tint, like twilight didn't want to leave. My dad turned to me and said, "Doesn't this feel off? Like we're in some kind of dream?" And he was right. It did.
They were drugged.
The forest felt endless, stretching out in every direction. My chest got tight. I couldn't shake the feeling that we weren't alone. We didn't say much after that.
The thing is, you know, you guys might not have noticed the woods that much because you guys were socializing the first day. When you're socializing, you're not really paying attention to the wilderness aspect. But now that you have the opportunity to pay attention to the wilderness aspect, because there's no one else there, now you're noticing things you didn't notice before. So I don't know if it's that crazy. Not
just
yet.
Kept walking, both of us glancing over our shoulders like we expected to see something lurking in the trees. Back at camp, we stayed close to the fire. We didn't really talk about the weird feeling. We didn't need to. It was like we both silently agreed to keep things normal, pretending nothing was wrong. We roasted marshmallows, played music, even smoked some weed to try and distract ourselves. Not the typical father-son moment you would expect, but by the time the sun dipped below the trees, we could no longer see what was in front of us, except for the fire. That's when the uneasy feeling had grown into something worse. As we sat by the campfire and roasted some s'mores, I want to say at about 9 o'clock, we heard a noise. It was a bang, as if a tree fell. It came out of nowhere,
Well, that was definitely a tree
loud
falling
and
sound.
close. It echoed through the woods from the direction of the river, maybe 100 yards away. We grabbed our flashlights and pointed them toward the sound, but there was nothing. No movement, no glowing eyes, nothing. Bigfoot, we joked. Nervous laughs.
Give it a
slipping out,
second.
but neither of us believed it. A few minutes passed, then it came again, louder this time. Farther off, but the same sound. Same weight. We shined our lights again, but the forest swallowed our flashlights, allowing us to see only the trees surrounding our tent. And then the third bang, closer. That's when the fear hit. Whatever it was moving toward us.
Dad pissed
like
himself.
It was circling the campsite. Then, not even before we were able to collect our thoughts, the fourth bang happens. About 20 yards away, maybe less. That's when the real fear and adrenaline set in. Whatever high I had going from the weed was now long gone. My dad turned to me with his eyes wide. I saw the fear in his face.
Oh, fuck.
We agreed to get in the tent. We quickly scrambled and threw the last of the firewood onto the fire, hoping the flames would scare off whatever was out there. Then we scrambled into the tent, leaving everything else behind.
It's the phantom.
I ran inside of the tent
earwax.
and quickly dropped to the ground, lying flat. My dad, moving a little slower, following right behind me. As he was about to get into the tent is when the loudest bang happened. So close, it felt like the ground shook.
Hit me with it.
My dad froze, staring out into the dark. I said his name, grabbing his attention as he stared in shock, then quickly jumping into the tent. He muttered, "It's standing there."
Fuck that.
"What's standing there?" I asked. "I don't know," he said, his voice trembling. It was like a wall of darkness. He sat by the zipper as I buried myself under my sleeping bag, trying to move as quietly as I could. He sat there clutching the only weapon we had, a small knife. Useless, really, but it was all we had.
This thing is kicking down trees left and right, and you got a small knife. This is one of those horror movie situations we're not walking away from.
And came this vibration noise that is still hard to explain to this day. It started low, like a hum, but it wasn't just sound. It filled the air. It was a feeling inside of us, making our chest tight. I've never felt anything like it. My dad whispered, "You hear that?" I couldn't answer. I just nodded, too scared to make a sound, with the feeling as if we were being hunted. This went on for about 5 minutes as we sat in silence. And then, this other sound. It wasn't an animal, and it wasn't human. It was this guttural, alien-like noise, as I like to put it. It honestly sounded like the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. Nothing I have ever heard before. We stayed frozen in that tent, too scared to breathe, too scared to move. I had this small mesh window right by where I was laying, but I refused to look outside of it with the fear of being seen. Just sitting there trying to control my breathing as my dad still sat there with the knife. And that's when the weirdest thing happened. In the middle of all of the chaos, we just blacked out. Neither of us remembered trying to fall asleep. My dad was still clutching the knife when we woke up, lying in the middle of the tent. I woke up on my back in a panic, as if something was standing over me. My first thought was to grab my phone to check the time, but it was dead. I asked my dad to check his. Dead too. Both had been fully charged the night before, making sure we had them working in case of an emergency.
Might have been a UFO story.
We stepped outside to pee. As we stood 5 feet from the tent and peed back to back, still scared out of our minds, we saw that it was still pitch black outside. The air was cold and still. The food we'd left on the table completely untouched. The fire we'd stoked before diving into the tent burned down to ash like it was never touched.
We'd kicked in.
The whole place felt wrong, like we shouldn't have been there. We waited the night out in the tent without saying much to each other, just trying to get some real sleep. We packed up in silence, not saying a word until we were in the car. When we finally talked about it, we realized we'd both felt the same thing that night. Watched and hunted, like something was waiting for us to slip up. We told my mom when we got back.
Right, but how are you not dead?
She thought we were crazy, said maybe we got drugged or...
If you were being hunted, how are you not dead?
...held some weird gas, but it wasn't that. Whatever happened that night, it was real. We both experienced the same thing. To this day, we don't know what it was. We didn't see it. Not fully, but my dad came closest. Whatever he saw, it wasn't human, and it wasn't natural. We never heard any similar story like ours. We haven't been back to that camping site since, or even gone camping since. I don't think we ever will.
Cowards. No. Could have been something they ate, maybe. Marshmallows might have been expired. Chocolate, maybe. There could be an explanation here. But the weed probably did kick in. They passed out. Both of them did around the same time. So maybe, but kind of around the same time, I'd think. Who knows? Weed, paranoia with weed. Yep, definitely is a thing. So maybe maybe the weed was a lot stronger than they expected. Anyways, guys, I got to go ahead and end this live stream because I got to get ready for work. I got to go take a shower and then be out the door in about an hour or so. So this was a lot of fun. It really was. I actually do genuinely enjoy this stuff, but unfortunately, I gotta go in tonight. So, anyways, thank you all for hopping on in. Really appreciate all the support you guys have given. Again, thank you for the donations. You didn't have to do that. I mean, it does help. So thank you so much. And money goes back into the channel. So there is that. So appreciate it, guys. Thank you again. I'll check you all later. See you, Heart. See you, Ghost. See you, Francis. See you, Mini Monk. I'll see you all next time.